Hello? Hello? Am I even streaming? I should be streaming. I am streaming, okay. Not sure why it's broken, but okay. Is this thing even working? Oh yes, it is working. Okay, it's working. I wonder if YouTube's gonna even notify anybody. La 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 la. La 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 la. Oh, hey. Oh my god, I wasn't looking at chat. Hi! Hello! Hi guys! Hello! Wait, let me put it on YouTube. You guys like Oz Media? What do you guys want to watch? I'll put it on YouTube for you all. Yes, I do. Hello! Haven't done a mic stream in a bit. I'm not really in the motivation to draw or animate right now, but I feel like doing it anyway. Oh yeah, I was also working on a design yesterday, but I got frustrated with the coloring, so I stopped. I also got like really sleepy. I'm gonna show you guys. This big ass rabbit named Maximus. I named him Maximus because he's Max. Do I have any drawing plans? No. I don't have any specific plans. Also, it's just Q&A. You guys could just like ask me whatever and I'll answer best of my ability. Yay. So hopefully I'm just gonna be drawing random stuff, maybe commissions, maybe not. Hopefully my drawing doesn't suck, because I realize my sketching process looks so awful and like I get really nervous about it. Hello, am I a furry? Yes, I am a furry, and I've been a furry, to be honest, since before I even knew what it was. So like probably jeez, I don't know how long. Is it gonna thunder? It's gonna thunder outside. But definitely, it was like before I was even on the internet, probably like 11, 12. You'd love to see my sketching process? Well, you're in luck, because my sketching process is incredibly awkward and you're gonna see it. I like erase and get rid of things constantly. Also, my sketching looks really weird at first. It looks so stupid. You know those little, you know those like, freaking people who like fake draw? And like they do like a really shitty sketch like this, and then suddenly the rest of the sketch just looks way better. Also, my favorite animator, um I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure, because there's like a lot of animators. Normally I would say Kitty Dog, but I think I've kind of grew out of their content just a little bit. Not like in a I don't watch them anymore kind of way, but in a, I usually get inspired by more people kind of way. More people, different people nowadays. Still love their content though. My glasses, they're so smudged. Oh, kitty dog. You clean my glasses. Is it my glasses or is it my eye? Oops, shit. Wrong thing. Hello. You spelled it right the first time. You're gonna be the one with the most questions. I mean, go ahead. Let me go ahead and put on that YouTube so you guys don't get bored. Just pop this out. Yes. You can. This can sit up here. Hopefully it's not too loud. You guys like Oz Media, I hope.
Welcome back, everyone. Oz here. And today I've got some, consequences for you all. As per
Not a
usual,
question,
I'll be
but you like
reading
my
the
art.
post,
Thank
giving
you.
my opinions, and I hope you do the same in the comments
Why do I not
below.
want to make a
And
QnA on my
without
server?
further
QnA on my
ado,
server?
Let's jump right
It's not
into
that
it.
I don't want to, it's that I haven't thought about it and also too
Consequences by
lazy.
Gamer Gabby 8. Cross post from r/confession. I lied about speaking Spanish for 8 months at work, and now there's a meeting with HR tomorrow. So, I work front desk at this airport hotel, and during the interview, my manager asked if anyone spoke Spanish, because apparently half the guests coming through there only speak Spanish, and they were desperate for bilingual people. I took like 2 years in high school, like 10 years ago, and for some reason, instead of saying not really, my dumb ass went, yeah, a little, because I thought they meant like directions or basic customer service crap. Huge mistake. Gigantic. Immediately, I became the Spanish guy. First week, I was basically just smiling and saying stuff like, tarjeta. I know it's tarjeta, or at least something like that, because the J's make H sounds within the Spanish alphabet, but I'm kind of just taking this and this one, like tortilla being tortilla, for how this person's doing it, so we're gonna have some fun. First week, I was basically just smiling and saying stuff like, tarjeta, please, and desayuno at 6, and Beno over there, and honestly, most people figured it out themselves anyway. Plus, people hear a white dude say 3 Spanish words confidently, and they act like you're an ambassador or something. Then coworkers started hyping me up like, "Oh my God, you're a lifesaver!
My channel,
We finally have someone bilingual."
Is my name
and I got too awkward to admit I was basically running on Dora the Explorer vocabulary and vibes.
And just me.
So I
My
just kept
persona's
nodding
name is
along. Like
Toby.
every
My
shift,
name's
somebody would
Tobias,
drag me
so,
over like, "Hey,
yeah.
can you help translate?" And I'd stand there sweating through my Marriott polo. I almost said pollo. Fuck. My brain is overcompensating. I just stand there sweating through my Marriott polo, saying random broken sentences while praying the guest understood enough English to meet me halfway. Sometimes they did. Sometimes
Everything
they looked
is
confused
so
but
laggy.
polite. One guy asked if I was from Portugal, which honestly should have been my sign to stop. But instead, I doubled down.
My favorite
for
OC.
8 months. 8 months! Everybody fully
I pretty
believes
much
I speak
make
fluent
OCs,
Spanish
like,
now. My manager
constantly,
literally
so I
introduced
can't
me to the
exactly
new hire as
say,
our bilingual staff
but,
last month, and I just stood there
maybe
like
my
a
channel
hostage.
mascot
Then last
right
week,
now
this
would
family
just
comes
vary.
in after their flight got canceled, and
Is
the
my
whole
canvas
lobby was
flipped?
already
My canvas
chaos
is flipped.
because the shuttle driver called out, and somebody clogged the toilet in room 214 with what looked like an entire rotisserie chicken from Popeyes. I swear to God. Little kids screaming, grandma pissed off, everybody exhausted from airport delays. My manager sees them arguing and immediately goes, "Thank God he's here," and points at me like I just arrived to negotiate a hostage release. I walk over and instantly realized I am cooked because they're talking fast, like real, actual Spanish. Not textbook hola me llamo bullshit. I got maybe every fourth word. Hotel, niño, aeropuerto, no
Thank
sé.
you.
Maybe,
Oh, I can't really
honestly,
thank
I
you
don't
because
even
this isn't my
remember.
OC,
I
this is a
panicked so
commission.
hard.
But it
my
is very
brain
cute,
just started pulling random
Fun fact,
Italian from
this person's
Duolingo
OC,
because
this one
apparently
specifically,
under
was
stress
the
I become
first
European
OC I've
soup.
drawn
I said something like uno
on when I got
momento
my
por
old laptop.
favor,
Like,
la
when I started drawing
habitación
on the
está
laptop
maybe
digitally.
pronto. And the grandma looked at me like I had just spit on the Pope. The dad got angry immediately and started saying stuff faster and louder, and I just kept nodding and throwing out random words, hoping one would land. At one point, I accidentally said, "Arrivederci! Arrivederci! Why would I say that?" Eventually, this other guest stepped in and started translating normally, and I swear the entire family looked relieved. Like somebody finally unplugged the malfunctioning robot. Turns out they thought I was mocking them on purpose because my Spanish sounded insane. And honestly, fair enough. Apparently, they filed a complaint saying I was making fun of them, and now HR wants me and my manager in early tomorrow to clarify concerns regarding guest communication, which sounds corporate for "you're about to get your ass blasted." Funniest part is, my coworkers keep telling me not to worry because I'm literally the best Spanish speaker we have. Brother, I don't even know what tense estoy is. I have spent 8 months surviving off of confidence in the word gracias. I feel actually sick. Like, I could have ended this at any point by just admitting, hey, by the way, I barely speak Spanish, but every week that passed made it weirder. And now I'm probably going to lose my job because I was too
Ask me
socially awkward to say, my bad, I exaggerated.
Ask me questions.
To be just honest, part of me is considering just learning Spanish overnight before the meeting like some Rocky montage shit, but I opened Duolingo earlier and got humbled by a cartoon owl asking me where the library is. ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? You guys want to hear something fucking incredible? I accidentally put arrivederci, or whatever it is. I probably butchered the living shit out of that. I'm sorry, my Italian speakers. I put that into the Spanish translation, by the way, to double check pronunciation, and this is the bullshit that it spat out by accident. Just listen. Just gonna put the microphone next to the speakers.
How long have I been drawing?
What am I supposed to
Sorry,
do
I
with
caught me off
that?
guard.
Also, my man, you
How long
had
have
8
I been
months to learn
drawing?
Spanish, and you didn't once consider in those 8
Almost
months,
10
hey, maybe I
years?
should
No, I've been
probably
drawing
start
since
learning
I've
it.
been in,
Like, buddy, I'm gonna be
I've been drawing
real.
ever since I
You
was
had
in
8 months.
elementary,
That's on you.
but
Oh, shit, my apologies for the pronunciations when I was
I
actually
guess I've
trying.
been animating for
I
almost 10
just-
years. And I
can
guess
hardly
that's around the
speak
time
English,
I started doing
you
YouTube
know,
and
I
taking
did
it
my best
seriously,
when
kind of.
I could.
So, yeah.
Cross posted, consequences by Little Soda Pop 13. Posted r/best of by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP,
How
his creepy
to?
wife throwaway, posted to r/am I the asshole, February 26th, 2024. Am I the asshole for calling my father's wife a creep? My 32 female father, 60s, has been
how
married to
to?
Sasha, fake name 40s, for almost a decade.
Not sure.
I was already an adult when they started seeing each other, so I never had much
Don't
of a
know.
relationship with her. That said, Sasha was nice and thoughtful, though a bit annoying at times, and I never had any problems with her. I now have a husband, 34 male, and 2 kids, 9 male and 4 female. Sasha is very fond of my children, especially my daughter. That became very suffocating pretty quickly. So, we started setting some boundaries. She never overstepped them. In January, my father and Sasha decided to go on a trip to Disney World and invited us to join them. We decided to go to celebrate our
I told
son's
you
9th
guys my
birthday.
sketching process was like
I
really
quickly
awkward.
regretted coming along. Sasha spent the entire trip fussing over my daughter in ways that overstepped almost every boundary we'd set. Examples include, Sasha bought a mini ears tiara. She wanted
Would I ever
me to
post
buy
a
my daughter an
tutorial on
identical
how I
one
draw
so
the
they could
bodies?
match. My daughter didn't like the tiara,
Probably
so
not.
I bought her
Not
a
really a
Donald Duck
tutorial
hat
type
instead.
of person.
Sasha got her the tiara anyway and was upset
I think
that
about
she
doing
didn't
it
want to
and
wear it.
realizing probably
My
not the
father and
best
Sasha
teacher.
went shopping
Guess
in
the best
between
thing you
parks.
could really
I
do
told
is, like,
them not to buy my
follow
kids
tutorials
anything,
online, but also
as
kind
we
of like
still had shopping to
take
do and didn't want
inspirations
to risk
from the
making our
creators you
bags
care
too
about.
heavy.
Stuff
Still,
like that.
Sasha returned with 5 bags of
No
clothing
matter what
for my
happens,
daughter
do not let
and
anyone
2 for my
pause.
son.
Do not let anybody tell you that it's bad to take inspiration, because everyone is taking inspiration from somebody. That's literally how you learn art, because if you didn't take inspiration, then, you wouldn't really go anywhere with your art. Take inspiration, doesn't matter. Heavy inspiration is one thing, just like taking light inspiration, following someone's art style closely until you develop your own. That's pretty much what you do. It's like, there's lots of tutorials online on how to do stuff, and I guess it's really helpful for when you struggle with anatomy, but I don't really follow anatomy that well anyway. I guess, kind of do it until it works. This is terrible advice, just letting you guys know, but that's just what I do. I just kind of, do stuff and take inspo until it works. Yeah.
Saying she couldn't resist it. My daughter wanted a Belle costume to wear at the parks, as that's her favorite princess. Sasha tried to convince her to get an Ariel costume instead, because that's her favorite. I explained that we never watched The Little Mermaid at home because my daughter is scared of Ursula. Sasha insisted on taking dozens of pictures with my daughter in front of the castle at Magic Kingdom. She also took some with my son, but not nearly as many. She tried to convince us to take our daughter to Bibbidi Bobbidi Bouquet. We refused because the prices are crazy, and we'd already bought her the Belle costume. She offered to pay, but we held our ground. I later found out Sasha tried to make a reservation anyway, but there was no availability. When we took our daughter to Slinky Dog Dash, her first roller coaster, Sasha tried to sit next to her. My daughter wanted to sit with me, so we switched. She tried to do the same thing in other attractions. At the Muppets Theater, she tried to get my daughter to sit in her lap. Sasha also tried to pick her up while we met some of the characters. There were more instances. The final straw for me, however, was the last park day of the trip. We were at Magic Kingdom. My husband suffered a minor injury, and I had to take him to the first aid station. The kids wanted to go to the Peter Pan ride, so my dad and Sasha offered to take them in the meantime. However, according to my father, the line was too long.
Just like
so
mine?
instead, Sasha suggested the Little Mermaid ride, assuring my kids Ursula wasn't on it. Actually,
cool.
there's a pretty big Ursula animatronic there.
You.
My daughter was still sobbing and hugging her brother when we reunited. When we flew back home, I told my father that we'd no longer take our children on trips with Sasha due to her behavior. He got extremely angry. He said his wife loved my kids, thought about what they'd like to do at every moment of the trip, and that we should be grateful to have her in our lives. I lost my temper at that. I told him Sasha was a fucking creep and that they should be grateful I was still okay with them even seeing my children after her actions during the trip. We ended up having a huge fight after that. It's been weeks since we'd returned home, and my father is still angry at me and my husband. Sasha has texted me a few times. She says she's sorry if she made me uncomfortable, but that she loves my kids and hope to use the trip to spend more time with them. To be honest, I don't think I'm the asshole here, but I do think I might have overreacted. I believe there's a chance Sasha's actions were motivated by love and she truly did have good intentions. Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole with an H has no consensus spot, but OP was voted not the asshole. Relevant comments. Pick a better username, comments. You're not the asshole because you have your children's best interests at heart. But it may benefit you and your dad's relationship to understand why Sasha is like she is. Overstepping boundaries is easier for someone when they believe it's for a good cause or to have fun in a safe way. Does she have kids of her own? Can she not have kids of her own? Does she maybe see the kids as her grandkids? It's a difficult one, but getting to the source of that could make the whole thing healthier. But on the other hand, it's not your job to put that work in when it's your father's relationship. All I'd suggest you do is explain to your father you set boundaries and regardless of intention, Sasha broke them, which you do not condone. Good luck! Opie responds, Sasha doesn't have children of her own. My father has me and my sister and has always been open about not wanting more kids. They're married, so I'm assuming she doesn't want kids either. I also don't think she sees my kids as grandchildren. She's always referred to herself as Aunt Sasha instead. When I got pregnant with my son, she commented she was too young to be a grandma. User Significant Cat 3 comments, not the asshole, you set some pretty clear boundaries that Sasha kept crossing the entire trip. Even your daughter seems to not be particularly receptive towards her. Also, your son can probably pick up on this favoritism, and that's not good for him either. I don't mean to do armchair psychology, but this reads like Sasha has always wanted a young daughter and is using yours to live vicariously through. Hence why she kept trying to push things that your daughter doesn't like onto her. Tiara, Little Mermaid ride, etc.
What's my favorite OC
Opie responds, my son doesn't like Sasha.
It's
I'm
hard
not
to
sure
say.
why, but
I
I
had
think he
answered this
gets that she
question a bit
favors
ago.
my daughter.
It's kind of
He's
hard to
also
say
very protective
as,
of his sister, so her discomfort
kinda,
could
like-
also be a reason. User Beautiful Story
I kinda
2811
make
comments,
and-
not the asshole, she sounds
I
exhausting.
kind of make OCs often,
But she also doesn't
and
seem
I
like
kind
a
of trash
truly
them
awful
often
person.
too.
So we started setting some
I
boundaries.
guess my
She
channel
never overstepped
mascot?
them. Question, does she have children of her own?
Maybe my channel mascot. Also, thank you, Snooze.
She probably sees your kids as a chance to play mommy if she's never had kids. She may not even be aware of exactly how intrusive she's being. Looks like there's a 20-year age gap between she and your dad. She probably thought she'd be okay with not having kids. I'm guessing your dad may have told her he's done having babies. But your little ones, and especially your daughter, may have just stirred up those feelings and she's trying to compensate. I still don't think you're the asshole, but maybe have an honest talk with her. Just you and her, and try to show a little grace. My apologies if you've done all that already and she's still being a pill. OP responds, you're right about a lot of things. She doesn't have kids, my dad doesn't want more children, and while she's defined herself as child-free before, she's also told me she'd always wondered what having a daughter would be like. My husband and I started setting boundaries because
See,
the
my characters
situation
live in a
was really
world
bad
I've
when
made,
my
like, an
daughter was
Earth.
younger.
Yeah, I
She'd
actually
wake
have
her up from her naps when she
I actually have two universes. One of them is called the World of a Thousand Realms, well, Planet of a Thousand Realms, and the other one is just like a weird version of Earth, kind of set in like a modern fantasy type thing. Pretty much story of my universe. It's still a work in progress as I've like redone the story like multiple times, but Earth and the realms, they're kind of like at odds with each other because the humans of Earth pretty much tried to colonize the realms and didn't realize that there were like so many different creatures on there, and they were already like really technically advanced, and they were like, no, thank you. Where did I get my fluffy bunny? That's not my rabbit. That's my partner's rabbit. Yeah, that person isn't me. That person isn't me. That's my partner's rabbit. Oh, this tail's giving me trouble. I don't like how it looks. Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? I'll just stick with the old wings. Do I have a preference canvas size? Yeah, I usually use 1,000 times 1,000. Well, it's pretty much almost the only canvas size I use. Well, sometimes I use bigger ones, but 1,000 times 1,000 is the most comfortable. I'm going to send the sketch to my commissioner. Yippee! I forgot what this character's name was. I'm just gonna name this canvas the orange. Yes, it is Clip Studio Paint. Hello, lovely Lola. Hi.
Visited, post pictures of her on social media without our approval, and complain about almost every parenting decision we'd make because it
Says
wasn't
Clip
how
Studio
she'd
Paint
do
right
it.
at the top.
Update 1, March 4th,
Also, this is
2024,
Maximus. Say hi to
1 week
Maximus,
later.
everyone.
Hey everyone, I'm going to give you an update. I read your comments and came to the following conclusion. As much as Sasha's behavior towards my children angered me and freaked me out, calling her a creep was the wrong reaction to have. That said, I think it's best for my family to distance itself from Sasha for the time being, and at the very least, my previous decision to avoid future trips with her based on the Disney trip is still the best course of action. Sasha's pushiness, tendency to override my and my husband's parenting, and blatant favoritism towards my daughter were much worse when the kids were younger. After my daughter's birth, she began to focus too much attention on her and almost none on my son. I gave more examples of that in the comments on my original post. That's the reason we set boundaries in the first place. The way she fusses over my daughter also bothers me. When we had the boundary conversation with my father and Sasha, she told us that she'd always wondered what having a daughter would be like. She'd also defined herself as child-free before, so I was never certain what to think of that. Either way, that reassured me and my husband that we were doing the best for our kids. Those boundaries had never overstepped. Then we went on the Disney trip, and most of them were completely ignored. Many of you pointed out that she might have gotten carried away, or that Disney is exciting and she wanted to make sure my kids had the best experience, etc. There are two things I'll say to that. The first is that whatever Sasha's reasons were, she still overstepped our boundaries. When we first set those, we told her that doing so would have consequences. Disney or not, I don't see a reason to make an exception. Secondly, she wasn't trying to ensure my kids had the best experience. She was pushing them to fulfill her fantasy of what their Disney trip should look like. She repeatedly ignored my children's wishes in favor of her own, despite them both being very clear about what they wanted and didn't want. Sasha also continually favored my daughter, including during my son's birthday, and fussed over her in ways that made her uncomfortable. And I still haven't forgiven the Little Mermaid thing. My daughter is a bit shy and takes a while to open up to most people, so knowing her trust was broken like that angers me in ways I can't describe. To put it in simpler terms, my children aren't props, and whoever treats them as such will, at the very least, be put in timeout. I called my father and Sasha on Saturday. I apologized for calling Sasha a creep, but told them that we needed some time apart.
It's okay.
They won't see my family until my younger sister's birthday in late April. If that goes well, they'll be invited to my daughter's 5th birthday party in May. After that, we'll slowly work on reestablishing contact. I also said that if they overstepped our boundaries again, the consequences would be more dire. My
What's
father
my
didn't
favorite
take it
food?
well. I don't care. Sasha sent me
My
a
interests
text with
tend
more
to
apologies.
change, but I've been really obsessed with pork dumplings lately. Pork and vegetable dumplings. They're so good. Wait, my favorite food of all time though is cheesecake. Nothing wrong with cheesecake. You can never go wrong with cheesecake. If you give me a cheesecake, I will be in your debt forever. I'll I'll explode. I'll blow up the world for you if you give me cheesecake. I love cheesecake. Bonus points if you give me New York cheesecake with strawberries. Delicious.
Followed by a request to at least FaceTime my kids every now and then. I said no. And to those who said my controlling behavior ruined the trip, my kids had an amazing time at Disney World. They're both still talking about it. My daughter keeps asking us to put her pictures with the characters she met up on the wall, and my son says he had the best birthday ever. I think that's it. Thank you for your advice and support on my first post. How many of you heard I think that's it and, took a peek at the chapters? Relevant comments. Canyon Moon. You protected your children, and that's the best thing you can do in any situation. I'm glad they're still talking about the trip, despite favoritism and the Ursula animatronic, which means you and your husband managed to outshine all of that with wonderful memories. For the possible reconciliation, everyone can act normal for a day, the birthday in late April, especially if they know there's a goalpost on that day. It's the behavior over time that counts. If they're still messaging you, requesting FaceTime calls, and calling you unreasonable despite you clearly saying you want no contact, you could begin a tally. 1 point for each request, and when it's X amount of points,
Kitty dog.
they'll have their timeout extended
Most
because
definitely,
they
Kitty
obviously
dog.
don't
I
understand
drop all
boundaries
my
yet.
commissions
Obi
just to
responds,
collab with Kitty
that's
dog.
great advice. We
Mostly
don't want
because
to go no
she's what got
contact, but we will
she's
if
what
our
got me into
boundaries are
animation memes in the
disrespected.
first place.
Knowing my father at Tally wouldn't be
Hands
well
down.
received. I'm doing my best to avoid turning this into a
Kitty
bigger
dog.
fight, but that kind of system would probably make things worse. It might be worth a shot, though. I'll
Do I
talk
like
to my husband
tails?
about it.
Not the
User
Sonic
Scarlet
character.
May West
I
comments,
feel like I've
"Hey, thanks
seen
for the
that
update.
question
You're doing the
somewhere
right
before,
thing and are
but
prepared if
yeah,
your
I
father
like
and
both
Sasha
normal
keep
tails
trying to push
and
against
the
your
Sonic
boundaries.
character.
Make sure anyone who might take their side is fully aware of the consequences of trying to mediate or help them. Opie responds, "Thankfully, no one's taking their sides. At most, my sister said I'd be cruel to them." Commenter asked Opie if she has spoken with her daughter being uncomfortable with Sasha. Opie responds, "Thank you for sharing that. It's always been clear that my daughter was uncomfortable with Sasha's behavior, which is why we made so many efforts to reinforce our boundaries. Timid or not, she was very vocal about what she wanted, be it our company, not Sasha's, or specific rides and souvenirs. In spite of that, I know we didn't shelter our daughter from everything. She's only 4, so I know the situation was a lot for her to process, and she can't articulate her feelings as well as her brother can. But she's not looking forward to seeing Sasha anytime soon, and I intend to respect that." User Cusp of Queens comments, "I see so many cases of women being
what I'm
arrested for
listening to?
inappropriate sexual relationships with
I'm
minors
watching
that I'm
Oz
dead
Media,
convinced
and
any
he's
adult
reading
who
Reddit
fixates on a
stories.
child like that has bad intentions, regardless of gender. You 100% made the right choice, and I would highly advocate for
Media is
not
very
leaving your
underrated. You
children,
should
but
check 'em out.
especially your daughter alone with her or letting her have unsupervised contact.
Well, he's not really
Thank you
underrated.
for
He has like
being
a
an advocate for your
million
children
subs,
and
but
what makes
still,
them
I like his
comfortable."
content a lot.
Opie responds, "Neither of my kids have ever been alone with Sasha. She's tried to offer babysitting services before, but we always say no. My son doesn't like her, and my daughter will usually do whatever he does." Update 2, May 3rd, 2024, 2 months later. Last time I posted here, I mentioned that my father and Sasha wouldn't see my children until my younger sister's birthday. The party took place last weekend, and
practice,
we
I
didn't
guess.
attend. These 2 months of no contact worked fine, but not great. My father respected my wishes, to my surprise,
This is
but
actually
Sasha
very
kept trying to
inconsistent.
find ways to
Mostly
talk
because
to
it's
my
a sketch,
children.
but
She
still.
called me under the guise of needing to ask me something, only to later say, "By the way, are the kids
ears are
around?
different
I want to
sizes,
say hi."
even though they shouldn't be.
Every time she tried that, I'd remind her of what I told her back in March. This must have happened almost a dozen times, which was enough for my husband and I to start debating on skipping the party. After speaking to our kids, we decided not to go. They both said they missed my father, but clearly didn't want to see Sasha. We thought about attending and just distancing from them while there, but risking making our children uncomfortable wasn't worth it. My son even asked if we could see their aunt somewhere else without Sasha around. My husband and I explained the situation to my sister. She was upset, but mostly because she hadn't seen the kids in a while. We all went to dinner at her favorite restaurant the day after her party. I also called my father and told him we wouldn't go to the birthday party. He reacted better than I expected, but we still had a short fight about it. He claimed that I had promised we'd let Sasha see the kids after 2 months, called me unfair, and said he was entitled to have a relationship with his grandchildren. I immediately denied that. Though I tried to sugarcoat it at first, I eventually gave him the truth. My kids don't want to see his wife, and I won't force them to. My father and I had a long talk. I told him how much Sasha's actions at the Disney trip upset my children, as well as how uncomfortable me and my husband felt. I admitted I don't trust his wife at all, and I don't think I ever truly will. He said that while he still thought I was overreacting, he understood I wanted to protect my kids. My dad also told me about how these 2 months of no contact were for them. Apparently, Sasha started talking about my kids, mostly my daughter, a lot more than usual. She'd mention things and places she thought they would like. My father was aware of one of the times she called me, but thought it was a one-time thing. She wanted to give my daughter a gift at my sister's birthday party. He said he didn't know why.
Almost
at
a
one
year.
point, she told him she wanted
Mostly
to plan
because
another
I'm not
family
really a fan of the developers, not really a fan of all the drama that's been happening, and all that other stuff. So, just, I guess I would say, I'm only saying this because I don't know any of the new themes, but my favorite theme, specifically, LMS, is the Close to Me theme with Friend and Blixer. I forgot the name of the John Doe skin, but yeah, it's my favorite theme. And favorite killer. I'm really good at Cool Kid. I'm really good at Cool Kid. Got all 3 milestones on Cool Kid. I guess I'm really good at Slasher too. Slasher's my favorite. Got milestone for Slasher. Favorite survivor? Elliot. Hi, Beaks! How do I demolish my art block? I don't. If I don't know how to draw, if I don't feel like, if my brain doesn't really feel like drawing that day, then I don't draw. I think that's pretty much how you do it. I guess you just don't really force yourself. Well, that's just how it is for me. I don't force myself to draw. It usually works out. Hi, Beaks. Hi, Beaks. It is kind of hot. Is it animated so poorly? I'll make me start the sketch over. Haven't drawn for most of 2026. That is unfortunate. Sometimes what I also do is I try to draw at least once a day, even if I don't feel like drawing. I'll try to draw once, and if I really can't draw anything, or if I just really don't feel it, I just don't draw. How do I make animation memes so fast? I honestly can't answer that because I don't know. Can't answer because I don't know. Sometimes I finish them fast, sometimes it takes 2 months. Really depends. Saturn. Is that Saturn? I'm gonna pretend that that's Saturn. Yeah. Whoa, 12 viewers. That's a lot. Hi. Guys, talk in chat. Ask me questions. It's not fun when it's only 3 of you guys here. What do I smell like poop? Binks, I think you should die. I think you should explode. Don't die, actually. If you die, I'll cry. I'm redoing the sketch because the other sketch is ass. Hi! Hi! There's no excuse checks. You have to make a question. It can be a random question like, why do my toes smell like feet or something? I'm joking. Here's a question. Why do you call it oven when you in the hot food? Out eat the food. Out hot eat the food. Ah, fuck. Uh. Microwave. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Yes. I am so unfunny. You guys think I'm funny?
With the kids, even though I told them they're not traveling with Sasha anymore. Learning all of that just made me more certain that I can't trust this woman around my children. For now, I intend to remain limited contact with my father and no contact with Sasha. My daughter told me she wanted her grandpa at her birthday party a few weeks from now, so I told him that he was invited, but Sasha wasn't. He agreed. To be honest, I don't trust my father after all of this. I'm allowing him to come because that party will take place at my home, which is easier for me to control. If he tries to bring Sasha, they'll both be kicked out, and it will take a long time for me to consider letting him near my kids again. My father hasn't told me how his wife is reacting to this. My sister told me during her party, Sasha asked her to tell me she wanted to talk. I'm not reaching out to her, nor do I plan to respond if she attempts to contact me. Both me and my husband have blocked her. My children are doing great. They still talk about how much fun they had at Disney. My daughter's been saving money, putting coins in her piggy bank, for us to go back. On a completely different note, I'm pregnant again.
I am glad.
This was completely unplanned. I always said I wanted 2 kids at most, and the third would have to be a huge accident. But my husband and I are ecstatic. I'm still in the first trimester, so not a lot of people know. We're brainstorming ways to tell our kids.
I'm full as nervous as
Overall, I'm pretty happy with my life right now.
Just realized
as much as I wish this Sasha
situation
had never happened, I feel like a better parent after dealing with it. I have never been more confident in my abilities to protect my children than I am now. I don't think I'll update again anytime soon. Once again, thank you for all the support you've given me. I wish you the best. Relevant comment. OP on being accused on turning her children against her father's wife and avoiding events when Sasha is present. OP. As much as I appreciate your insight, allow me to explain why I won't change my mind on this subject. First of all, I'm not concerned about avoiding too many events. My paternal family is smaller than my maternal side, and there aren't many get-togethers in the first place. The only reason my dad even went to my sister's birthday party was because she wanted to introduce her boyfriend to him. My father has also seen my children without Sasha countless times before, so that's not a concern either. I don't dislike Sasha. Even if I did, I've always been very careful not to let my opinions on others affect my children. Specifically because I aim to teach them to be polite.
Yeah, that make me happy.
But my kids are allowed to express themselves.
I'd be honored, yeah.
If they don't like Person X, they don't have to be around Person X. It doesn't matter how much Person X wants to see them. I'm not teaching them to sacrifice their comfort for someone who doesn't actually care about them. And no, Sasha doesn't actually care about my children, nor has she tried to build a relationship with them. Instead, she tries to push them, specifically my daughter, to do what she wants to see them doing. Almost none of her actions during the Disney trip were for my daughter's benefit. They were for hers. Sasha is not my children's grandmother. They don't see her as such. She doesn't want to be seen as such. She calls herself aunt. Her actions weren't doting, nor did they have anything to do with her not being able to formulate relationships with children. She doesn't care about my daughter's happiness, she just treats her like a doll. My son, meanwhile,
I'm sorry
is
about the
cast
stream
aside.
delay. I realize
If someone
stream delay is
overwhelms one of my
pretty
children
awful.
and
It's like
ignores
worse
the
than on
other
my old
on his
laptop.
birthday,
I will
they
try
don't need
to
to be
learn.
around
I will
my
try to
kids.
fix it.
To answer the other part of your
Not
question,
sure if I can.
I have spoken with Sasha. It was the whole point of the
Ouch, my elbow.
boundary conversation. I communicated what was wrong and what she could do to improve. Whenever I try to set boundaries, Sasha disrespects them. She does not listen to me. It's not my job to teach her how to build a relationship with my kids any more than I already have. That's the point of this no contact policy.
What color is my dream
Sasha
house and
doesn't
what kind of
listen to me
layout would
or
you
my
like?
children. If my kids
I have
don't
not
mind,
thought about
I'd
that
consider
question
other
before.
ways of approaching this, but they do
Our
mind,
stream is
and I
lagging.
refuse
My
to force them
apologies.
to be around someone who disrespects them. And the fact that she refuses to listen to my children and insists on pushing her
I don't
fantasies
answer that
onto
question.
my daughter
My bad.
is enough for me to go no contact. I have no
I'll have to think
intention of
about it.
updating anytime
Probably
soon,
like
nor am I looking for any more advice. Thank you for your
black
concern.
house with a red internal, like
Update
a
3,
car.
September
I don't know.
3rd, 2024, 4 months later. First of all, my father didn't bring Sasha to my daughter's birthday party back in May. I didn't really think he would. I'd made it very clear I wouldn't tolerate that. But I'd be lying if I said your comments didn't make me a little paranoid. Secondly, I've just entered my 3rd trimester,
I hope
and the
it's not
baby
still
will be here in
lagging.
November. The kids are ecstatic. I'm having another girl, but my husband and I are not sharing the sex until she's born. This has nothing to do with our families. It's just something we've also done with our first 2. Everyone, including Sasha, knows I'm pregnant. We announced it a couple months ago. I had no problem with my father telling
is the
her,
audio in
though
the
he did
background?
ask if he could.
Oh, it's a
I didn't hear
YouTube
much
video.
about her reaction, but according to my father, she was happy for me.
It's
My children still don't want to see Sasha, and I'm still not forcing them
I'm
to.
watching
I've unblocked
Oz
her
Media.
and put her on mute instead. But she hasn't
He's
made
reading
any
Reddit
attempts
stories.
to contact me. We've continued meeting my father without his wife, and I think it's been working out. My relationship with him isn't fantastic, but it's much better than it was earlier this year. Last week, I saw Sasha for the first time in months. My cousin threw a party at her place. My husband and I attended,
I
as did my
apologize.
father and Sasha. I knew she'd be there, but since the kids weren't with us, son had a sleepover, daughter stayed with my mom, I didn't really have anything against seeing her. They arrived sometime after we did. My husband and I spoke with them for a few minutes, and it was less awkward than I expected. Sasha asked me about the baby's sex, and I told her we weren't telling anyone, which again is what we've always done. About 20 minutes later, my father told me they had to go. I thought it was weird that they were leaving so soon, but I didn't think much of it at the time. He called me a few days ago, and we spoke for a long time. My father is difficult to talk to, so the following is what I gathered from the conversation.
blah.
He said they left early because Sasha was holding back tears after she saw me. She was sobbing by the time they got to the car. They later had a discussion about it, and Sasha admitted she wanted
He always
kids.
wanted a
She married
small
my dad
grayish
knowing he didn't, but
greenhouse
hoped he would
that
change his
see
mind.
around.
Apparently, when my son was
Love,
born,
have a music
Sasha
room,
tried to
piano,
drop
other
"I want
instruments.
one"
That
hints to my
sounds
father.
nice.
He didn't notice, so she gave up. According to my father, Sasha told him she loved my kids equally, but my daughter was special because she always imagined herself as a girl mom. That's also the reason she became such a suffocating presence when my daughter was a baby. When my husband and I started setting boundaries, Sasha realized she was overstepping and agreed to abide by them. To her credit, I think she did a mostly okay job back then, but the favoritism was still obvious enough that my son noticed it. The trip we took was a turning point because Sasha's dream of having a daughter included taking her to Disney World and having her do all the things that she liked to do there when she was young. She told my father that having my daughter there was so exciting that she forgot everything I'd said about not overstepping. Sasha wanted a mother-daughter trip and tried to use my child for it. Sasha said she regretted her actions during the Disney trip, but only because she lost access to my children due to them. After seeing me at the party, all pregnant and pretty, my father's words, not sure she actually said that, was what drove her over the edge. I remember reading some comments theorizing that this was what was going on, but I still didn't really expect this. My father said he was telling me all this because his wife wasn't doing well. and he'd understand if I wanted to keep my kids away from her. Didn't expect that either. I don't know what the future of their relationship will be, and I don't think my father does either. All I know is that if Sasha still wants to have kids, it almost definitely will not be with my father. Before all this, I was pondering about my third child's future in relation to Sasha. Now, I sincerely don't want her to be a part of my baby's life. This isn't a final decision, but I've been speaking to my husband about it, and he agrees with me. I don't think she's a bad person. I got some baby stealer comments on my previous update, but I don't think that's what's happening here either. But if the Disney trip proved anything to me, it's that Sasha is willing to be extremely selfish and disrespectful to get what she wants, even when my kids are involved. A couple months ago, my husband and I had a conversation with our son about the subject. He told us
Have
he
I ever
dislikes
thought
Sasha
of
for
trying to
two
tween?
reasons. She
Sweet, you
favors
didn't
his
bring my
sister,
frame.
and she doesn't
I actually
listen to
have.
them.
I want
Honestly,
to
that's all I
tween,
need
but
to know.
tweening on clip steel
Looking
paint
back at my own
sucks.
childhood, I feel like
And
I was
also,
never
I
allowed
just,
to have
I'm
boundaries.
not very good at it.
I was always
I always
expected to put
preferred
my
frame by
schedules and
frame.
preferences aside for others.
It's just,
It's important to me
I don't
that
know,
my
it's just
children
more fun
don't go
for me.
through that. If they don't want to see Sasha, they don't have to. I think that's
every
all I
instance
want
of
to
me
say
tweening
here.
has been
I'm
miserable.
doing well. I actually got
In
some
fact,
great
like,
news from work
I've
recently.
had some.
My kids are thriving,
I've
and
tweened a
I'm
couple of
excited to meet my
things on
third
clip
baby.
steel paint, I
Again,
guess.
thank you guys.
It's just like not
Relevant
very,
comments. Commenter. Not the asshole.
not very good
What a
for my
roller coaster.
standards, I
First
guess.
time
I'm
reading
not
any
sure.
of these, so wow.
Maybe I'll
Great
like
job
keep
shutting it down
trying,
though, and still being respectful. Heart emoji.
not the biggest
I
fan.
admire the
Especially
class you showed in handling
don't
it
like
all,
how clip
even
steel
with
paint
the slip calling
lags
her
when
a
you
creep.
tween on it.
Although it
very
was
bad.
accurate at the time, she was acting very creepy. Hope he responds. I still think I shouldn't have said it, but the more I think about it, the more I feel like I had to. Honestly, when my dad tried to tell me she'd been thinking about what my kids would like the whole time, all I could think about was every moment she tried to force them to do something they said they didn't want to do. The fact she had lied to my daughter about the Ursula animatronic, which she knew was in the ride, just days prior, didn't help. Commenter, for what it's worth, you might want to give your dad a heads up shortly before you globally announce your daughter's birth. If Sasha is this infatuated with being a girl mom and is this distraught over you being pregnant and pretty, you might want to be ready for how she'll react when she finds out you're a girl mom ×2. Hope he responds. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried about her reaction. With our first two, we didn't
can
announce
tween on
anything
clip
until we
steel,
brought
too?
them home.
Yeah, you
My
can.
father
It's
said
just
he's planning
very
on visiting us
difficult.
at the hospital without Sasha,
I'll
so he'll find out
show
before
you guys
anyway.
an example.
But I'll
It's
talk
very
to him about it
difficult,
more in
and I
November.
don't like doing it.
Commenter, has she ever thought about being a foster parent? I know it's not the same as having her own kids, but maybe your dad would consider it? Hope he responds. I don't know if she's thought about it, but I know my father wouldn't
Jesus
want
Christ,
that either.
everything's lagging.
He's been saying he's done raising kids since I was a teenager. Commenter, hopefully Sasha's biological clock is timed out. Her behavior, including wanting children at 40-something with a 60-something-year-old man, has proven she would not make a good mother. If she had a baby with your father, that child would most likely lose its father before or during college. It would be dealing with an aging retiree mother by its 20s. Who would want to subject a child to a lifetime of the hurt caused by losing your parents early / seeing them decline into rotting old age? She is incredibly selfish and immature. Opie responds. To be exact here, Sasha is 47 years old. I don't know about her fertility, but if she had a child with my father, she would almost certainly raise it mostly alone. She doesn't work, but my father still does, because he wants to. And his job involves traveling a lot. Plus, I love the guy, but he's always had the tendency of getting lazy when he's home, which naturally got worse with age. And again, he doesn't want to raise more kids. Financially speaking, they're more than okay, but I can't imagine raising a toddler in my 50s. Commenter, congrats on your second daughter. As for the rest, I don't think I'd call Sasha dangerous, but I think you're making the right choice in not allowing her around your kids. Opie responds.
Just realized
Thank
you're
you.
a few
I don't
seconds
think
behind.
she's dangerous either.
Yeah.
But I don't want her to
It's
keep treating
me.
my children like this.
It's
I
mostly me.
remember
It's
that
mostly
during
me.
the Disney trip, there were many instances in which my kids were clearly uncomfortable with her behavior, but Sasha would continue to overstep. The way she acted after we went limited contact earlier this year also freaked me out. Commenter 2. It seems to be on the level where it's a psychological issue on
Red
her
Story's
part,
crazy.
and
Yeah.
enabling that by allowing her to indulge in her delusions would not be healthy for her either. She needs therapy. Opie responds. I hope she gets some sort of help, and you're absolutely
Uh.
right. Enabling this would be unhealthy for both Sasha and my kids. Final
Why isn't it
update,
working?
November 22nd, 2024. Hey, my birthday!
Yay!
2.5 months later. I'm happy to announce my daughter was born 2 weeks ago. She arrived a little earlier
It's
than
very
expected,
stupid.
but she's perfect. My older kids are
The
in
more I
love
kept
with their
going,
baby
the more
sister.
layers of
And as
details I
much as
add, it
didn't
will be
plan to have a
just
third child,
laggier.
I'm
It's getting
truly
laggier and
glad I did.
laggier.
As I mentioned last time I posted, my husband and I
Look at 'em
didn't
go.
announce the sex in
Boing,
advance
boing,
when our
boing,
first two
boing.
kids were born. This time, I decided to give my father a heads up. After I found out about the whole girl mom thing, I became worried
enough
about
of
how
that.
Sasha would react to the news I was having another daughter. Telling my father ahead of her birth would give him more time to prepare. So, about a month ago, my father told Sasha I was having another girl. As expected, she didn't take it well.
You barely hear anything. Sorry, yeah, it is on OBS. I can't up my volume. I've already tried. I don't know why it's so low. I'll just like stop playing YouTube whenever I'm talking. That way you could probably hear me better. I hope that doesn't get annoying though.
A few days after I gave birth, my father told me that he and Sasha were separating. They're not sure about divorce, but he thinks that's where they're headed. Sasha started talking to my father about having children around the time I made my last post. According to him, they started fighting about it when she tried to convince him to get his vasectomy reversed. I didn't know he had one. My father said Sasha cried when he told her I'd have another daughter, and they decided to separate a few days later. I'm not very informed about the situation, but my father did state that the decision was mutual. About a week
So the
ago,
cursor
Sasha
moving versus
texted
the
me.
delayed
It started
timeline.
with her congratulating me for my daughter's.
Yeah, I don't know why, but my cursor is being like really laggy. I don't know why it's doing this. It's only the cursor and not the drawing. Really cool. Thank you. Hello. Thank you. You're very sweet. What if I got rid of this neck fluff? This neck fluff is pissing me off. Now they kind of just look like they're hunching weird. Yeah, this is better. This is better. This is way better. Such a slow typer. It's okay. I can barely see. I'm gonna go outside and fight those crickets. They're so loud.
Birth then evolved into what seemed like a farewell letter to my children. Not much about them stood out to me, though "you'll never understand the love I feel for your children" was an interesting statement. She talked about how much it hurt to know she'd never meet my baby or watch my daughter become a big sister. Sasha told me I had tortured her by keeping my kids away. And it was that distance that made her accept that she needed to be a mother. She deleted the text a few minutes after I finished reading it. I decided not to reply. I haven't been thinking much about the situation lately, but the more I do, the dumber I feel for not realizing Sasha wanted kids sooner. I remember she started talking about my father's future grandchildren long before I got pregnant with my son. Her behavior around my daughter, at least before the Disney trip, always felt weird to me, but I still never made the connection. I still don't dislike Sasha, but I think she brought this situation upon herself. As much as I recognize my father is far from innocent, he's always been very clear about not wanting more children. Sasha is 47 years old, and while I don't think I'd want to have kids at that age, I know people who have. If that's what she wants, then I wish her luck. We're also officially moving to Europe in
might play Animal
2025.
Hospital in a bit.
Work-related news I mentioned in my previous update
I'm not sure if
were
you guys
really,
want to
really
watch
great.
that.
My husband and I had been hoping for an opportunity like this for a while. We're helping the kids make arrangements to maintain
Also, I know my
contact
game
with
would
their
be pretty
friends.
laggy,
Luckily, my
so I
daughter's
probably
best
won't
friend is my
stream it
goddaughter.
anyway.
This will be my last update. I'm busy with my baby, and I'll definitely have a busy 2025 as well. So, I don't intend to write about this anymore. I wanted to thank you all for the advice, reassurance, and kindness you have shown me. Happy holidays! Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Interesting that Sasha mentioned her never being able to meet your baby and not able to watch your daughter become a big sister. Did she not mention your son at all? Not that it changes anything, but she's still solely focused on your daughters. Congratulations on the new baby girl. Hope everything works out well for you all. OP responds, she did mention all 3 of my kids by name once, but I don't remember her mentioning my son besides that. I only read the text once before she deleted, so I might be misremembering it, but she did focus on the girls. Commenter 2. This is why people shouldn't stay in relationships where they fundamentally disagree on whether they have kids or not. At some point, the resentment will kill the relationship anyway. OP responds, agreed. Both me and my husband had always known we wanted kids before I got pregnant. We chose our first daughter's name and 2 possibilities for our sons after 1 year of dating. Hadn't we been on the same page about children, we wouldn't be together. I also have plenty of child-free friends, none of whom would date someone who wanted kids. Commenter 3. Sasha is the exact type of person who should not have children. Children are people, not vehicles to fulfill self-indulgent needs of parents. So while this one may not have been some grand fiasco like other stories have, it's still very real and a very good thing to talk about and bring up. Because if you do want kids but you lie to yourself, that resentment and those emotions are going to build up and come out in some pretty ugly ways, like what we saw with Sasha here. Now, personally, I'm not 100% sure if I think Sasha should have kids, though, because she doesn't seem too interested in what the kids want in just what she wants the kids to want. A really great example is the whole My Little Mermaid. My Little Mermaid? God damn. The Little Mermaid fiasco. We don't know if the ride they originally wanted to go on was actually so backed up they had to go to a different ride. But the ride they chose was one that specifically Sasha really enjoyed. The Little Mermaid one. The one that she previously tried imparting onto OP's daughter. The one that OP's daughter was afraid of because of Ursula. The one that she promised Ursula wouldn't be in. The one that very much does have an Ursula animatronic that she knew about. That makes me worry that when it comes to her own kids that she would do the same. That no matter what they would want, she would only give them what she wants them to want. Unfortunately, the consequences in this one are kind of tragic. It's Sasha realizing that she lied to herself and married a man who never wanted children, only to then learn that she did, in fact, want children. She wasn't as child-free as she expressed previously. Like, part of me feels bad for Sasha, because, like, that's just something tragic, is to realize that you've just let several years of your life go by and not actually being able to get what you want from life. Though part of this might just be because of the current emotional state.
Honestly, we're twinning because I have 2 spoons. I have 2
then
spoons
there's
on
the
my
other part
desk.
of me where
They're
it's
there
just
for
like, you
decoration.
completely ignored and trampled over OP's boundaries and forced kids to do things they never wanted to do because
I really
that's
need to
what
wash
you
these
wanted them to do.
spoons.
And made them uncomfortable. And made them do things that they explicitly expressed that they were scared of. And then, when the boundaries were drawn tighter because of your behavior, You said that you were being tortured by not having contact with them. And the part that scares the hell out of me the most is if Sasha does have kids, what happens if she has a boy? Like, she's already proved that she'll play favorites towards the daughters, but what if she never gets the daughter she dreamed of and instead is, well, stuck with a boy? What's that kid's life going to look like? To me, as cruel as it is to say, I do hope that Sasha doesn't have children because it comes across as though she doesn't want kids.
Kinda.
She's in love with the idea of
There's a
having
chance
a
I might do
daughter.
it, but
It's
honestly,
the idea
I just
of
need
being
to
a
focus
mother
on
to a
getting
daughter
money
that
this
she
month.
seems so infatuated with. Not being a
I'll
parent.
get back when you get to the laptop.
Oh boy,
Alrighty.
it's